show you how to make pancakes on a curd milk. This is a recipe from my mom. This is my mom recipe, and you can freeze them. They're delicious, and they can be served with the powdered sugar or with jam. We can simply add some powdered sugar. The good thing about them is that you can freeze them, so I wouldn't put the powdered sugar yet if you're planning to freeze them. So you can make a bigger amount, freeze them in a freezer, and then defrost them. While they defrost, you can simply put them to the toaster and put some jam and have it for breakfast, ready for next day. Or we can add some jam. I'm gonna be using this jam, strawberry jam today, and simply adding them and show you how they look inside. Okay, we're gonna start with the ingredients you will need for curd pancakes, which are traditional Polish pancakes my grandma was making for us when we were kids. We'll start with the first ingredients, which is curd milk. We'll need about 400 grams, and so that's the curd milk I'm always getting. It's from Krasny, and you can buy it at any Polish shop, and it's called in Polish siadłe mleko. So this is our first ingredients, about 400 grams or whole container. Sometimes you can buy them in a bottle, or they sell them in a round one like this one. Next ingredients is 1 egg. We'll need 1 teaspoon of soda. We'll need vanilla sugar. You can buy it in Polish shop. If you want them to be a bit sweeter, then I will strongly recommend to add 1 vanilla sugar. You can buy them in sachet like this in Polish shop again. And especially if you've got kids, it will make them taste a little bit nicer. We'll also need some salt, just a pinch, and some flour. We'll need about 400 grams of flour. It's up to you what flour you will be using. I'll be using this one. It's sifted already for me, so I would recommend to use sifted flours for baking, so our pancakes will be nice and fluffy. So about 400 grams. Those are all ingredients we'll need, so very simple. And also we'll need some oil to fry them. I will use today vegetable oil, but of course you can use oil of your choice. It doesn't matter really, so whatever you've got handy you can use. Okay, we're gonna start with flour. We will need a scale for it, as we need 400 grams. So I've got my flour in here, and we'll just measure 400 grams of flour first. Okay, we've got 400 grams of flour. I would definitely recommend it to buy already pre-sifted flour, not a grainy one, just so your pancakes will be nice and fluffy. Next up, we'll get add a pinch of salt directly to our flour. Next up, we're gonna add 1 whole egg straight to the flour. You can make a little hole in the middle and then throw our egg. Okay, we have added 1 egg straight to the flour, and now we're gonna mix it and then add 1 teaspoon of salt. We don't need a mixer for our pancakes. We're just gonna use this, and everything will be done. Next, we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of soda, quite big one. Next up, we're gonna add our sugar, vanilla sugar, straight in. We're now gonna add vanilla sugar to make it sweeter. You can add regular granulated sugar if you want to, 1 teaspoon or tablespoon, depends how sweet you want it, or powdered sugar. Okay, now time for our last ingredients, our curd milk. So we're gonna add it straight to the bowl and mix it well. Consistency should be like a thick double cream. Okay, this is how our curd milk looks like. So this is normal that it looks like this, so we're just gonna add it straight in. Okay, we have mixed everything together, combined all the ingredients. As you will see, the consistency will be quite thick. It's a bit thicker than for the pancakes, for a normal regular pancakes mixture. As you can see, it's quite thick, and that's normal, that's how it should be. If you have it too watery, you will need to add a little bit more flour. If you have it a bit too thicker than this, like much thicker than this, then you will need to add a bit of regular milk, and that will be fine. Or if you still got some okay, now we're gonna be frying our pancakes with curd milk. We'll need some frying oil. We're gonna use today vegetable oil. As I mentioned before, you can use any oil you have for frying. We've got a pan. This is just a regular pan, so we've got some paper in here prepared, and somewhere where we can put fried pancakes. I will put the paper in here, and then as soon as I will fry them, I will put them in here, our pancakes, to make sure that they soaked. The paper will basically soak a fat, oil, if you like, from the pancakes. So it will take that moisture away, that fat, exceed of fat, to be precise. We don't want them swimming in oil, but obviously we need to fry them, and we want them to be nice and fluffy, so the paper will help do just that. Okay, and now we're gonna fry some oil. We have to make sure that we actually start frying them on a hot oil, not before. Has to be hot oil. So we're gonna heat up the oil, and then when it's sizzling, we'll be able to see some bubbles on the surface, and then we can start frying. We need to make sure that we put our bowl close to a frying pan next to it, so we don't drip anything. We need a little spoon to spoon them in there. We want them like a little round one. I will show you in a second. Little pancakes, and yeah, what we have to remember is that we shouldn't have them on a very high heat, as they're gonna burn outside really quickly and they're gonna be raw inside, which we want to avoid. So second round, we have to turn them straight away when we see they are nice and gold color like this. We know then that it's a second round. Now we've got 5 of them, and we already have 5 in here, and this is how they look straight after frying. Nice and brown. And we are using the same oil from when we when we're adding it to the frying pan, we need to make sure it's spreaded to a nice pancake, because it's quite thick, as you can see. Very important thing is, if you notice a little bit of raw butter sticking outside on any side of the cake, then that means there is lots of raw cake inside. When you squeeze it, it all pops out. That means it's raw inside. So you need to fry it out, make a thinner cake. It's very important. The cake will be raw inside, so it shouldn't have any splits which sticking outside, because it will be raw. Those are incredible with the jam or with the powdered sugar on very top, eaten fresh straight away. When fried, I would recommend them for breakfast with a glass of cacao, hot cacao. That's how my mom was making it, and that's how I'm gonna make it for my kids. So they are very nice and fluffy. I will show you how they look inside. Okay, so we've got our pancakes on curd milk ready. They're very nice and fluffy. I will show you how they look inside now. They should be nice and gold like this. They shouldn't have any raw butter coming out on either side. We've got quite a few of them. You can either serve them with a jam or just simply by adding some powdered sugar on the very top. This is how our cake should look inside. As you can see, they are cooked through. They are nice and fluffy. They're freshly made, and that's how they should look. You should have this sort of texture.